Hello worlds and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are going to do a pick a card reading for messages from the GFL, the Galactic Federation of Light. So I have several GFL readings, and you probably, if you were drawn to this reading or you might, or curious about it, you might consider yourself a Starseed, a Lightworker, something along those lines, and that's kind of what the messages are. They're like how you fit in, how your soul fits in to the larger, to the universe at large, and the messages in that way. There are other channels that do messages from the GFL as kind of like what their objective is, what they're accomplishing, the overall, and this is more personal to you, messages for you at this time. And everybody seems to be on, you know, wherever our star family resides, or if we have multiple star families in our lineage, you know, we are on different missions, but because, you know, think about yourself as an individual. We all have different individual strengths, or we might be in different areas, from awakening to, you know, on our 10th, what is that? Dark night of the soul, that kind of thing. But this is just messages that you need to hear at this moment, and you get to pick the card. So the way that I connect is using cards. Other people channels, some people do remote viewing. This is how I get my messages. So you get to use your intuition to pick the card here, or maybe number, or maybe in the description where I have the timestamps down below, you see numbers that are repeat in your life, and that is how you pick, however you wish to choose. These cards actually represent something, and I kind of have the numbers over that because I don't want to influence your decision in that way. I just want you to look at the images and use your intuition to choose your pile. Then go down to the description box or the comments, click on the corresponding number that goes with it, and I will read cards for you as your messages, your personal, well, kind of group, personal group messages from the GFL. And as always, with any type of information like this, card reading, please take what resonates. Use your intuition, run it past your gut. That use discernment. If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. And a lot of times in these group readings, like, oh yeah, that definitely resonates. That's for me. Well, that doesn't really so much. That does, you know. So just take what resonates, leave the rest, and that's okay. And sometimes something will resonate a week from now. Sometimes it never will. So that is okay. That's just kind of the nature of these readings. And if you're still not sure which direction to go, that's fine. You can do a brief little breathing exercise meditation with me. I invite you to do that now. It helps me to get in the moment. So let's do that for you too. Go ahead and take a comfortable seat, get comfortable, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and release. We're releasing out any tension. We're setting the intention to get the messages you need to receive right now. Continue breathing while I'm talking. And so we're here in this moment. Set the intention to be here, to be present, to get the messages you need to receive. Take another deep breath in and release. Release out tension. Just be here. Go ahead and open your eyes. And wherever your eyes are drawn, that is the group for you. And I will meet you at your reading. Thank you so much for being here with me. Hello, group one. So if you picked this image, this is your reading, and it says 61 guilt. See why I hit it? However, I think guilt is an important message. It's an important thing because it's something that so many of us suffer from, and for reasons that, you know, it's something that we shouldn't suffer from. A lot of times it is used by governments or individuals for sympathy, for governments and religion for control, and it really kind of pulls on your heartstrings for you to feel guilty about something. And it's time for you, but it's actually like a barrier. It keeps you from questioning things. It keeps you from evolving. It keeps you in one spot. And in reality, it's actually a very poor way to control people, right? Because if this idea or this concept were so wonderful, you wouldn't need to control people with guilt. You could use love. And I feel like it is especially helpful for someone like you who has an amazing big heart. And of course, you don't want to, you don't want to, whatever the guilt situation is, you don't want to be mean to people, so you feel guilty that you might have done that, but it's time to release that. It's time to forgive yourself. It's time to let go. We are all human. We all make mistakes. There's no reason to feel guilty. If you feel yourself, if you feel that bubbling up, like it's a really unhealthy feeling, even though it is used by others to produce a result that they want. Well, if it's so great, if that result is so great, why is it so unhealthy for everyone? We also get crown chakra. We have double mission, Lightworker, Starseed, serve the world by being you. We have lifting the veil, questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. So guilt is one of the things that must go at this time. We have the Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits, soul tribe. It's time to start surrounding yourself with people who feel good, who feel like they have the same mission as you, who feel like they have the same goals and background in mind for you. And guilt is actually an amazing, well, all emotions are an amazing compass to help us figure out our direction. If you are surrounded by a bunch of people who just make you feel guilty all the time, who make you feel bad about yourself or sad about yourself for whatever reason, that is not your soul tribe. Those are not the people that you need to surround yourself with. And that is where we need to start cutting ties, but creating ties with this healthy people, healthy family. Now, sometimes, again, we have this double mission. You're serving the world by just being you. Sometimes you're able to change those around you just by who you are and your outlook and your positivity that you're putting in things. But when you're down on yourself and you have guilt surrounding you, that's not going to help. Do things out of love, not out of guilt. And then we have inner temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. It's interesting because I'm feeling such even though we have the crown chakra here, I'm glad we have the inner temple. I'm glad we're talking about guilt and exchanging that for love. I'm feeling so much of the heart chakra in this reading. I'm feeling so much love in this reading. I'm feeling so much like, I think guilt is especially something that you need to be aware of and attuned to, because I think it's especially effective with you because your heart is so big. So even though we talk about guilt being a boundary, guilt being negative thinking, guilt being it's something that keeps you from evolving, it keeps you in a place. We do need positive boundaries around our heart to not let this guilt in, to recognize yourself, to recognize who you are, what you're doing, what your mission is, so that we don't allow this manipulative guilt to come in. Part of that is through our crown chakra. So we're going to talk about this right now. There are 7 chakras. They start at the root chakra, which is like your tailbone, and they go up. And we need to feel alignment. I think when we get to the inner temple, we'll talk about that alignment too. But this highest chakra, I feel like, is showing up And all of these confirm you are a light seed. Light seed. You are a starseed light worker. You are somebody here meant to bring higher vibrations to the planet. And again, you might be specifically targeted for manipulation or for people to throw guilt on you. Either one, because of the recognition of your light and to throw you off of your mission, or two, just because you are such high vibration that you find people dumping their emotions and things on you. Now, you are strong enough to handle that. You're strong enough to transmute that. You're strong enough to take that. And I think it is part of your mission to take some of that negativity and transmute it into positivity. But if you're feeling like overwhelmed, it is perfectly fine to say like, not today, and to work on yourself, to work on your own connections, and to come back and center yourself. Crown chakra, the frequency of the crown chakra, the violet flame of life, supports our spiritual connection to the universe and the ability to transmute negative energy into light. So I was talking about that. It's so interesting. I started talking about like all of the chakras aligning, starting with the root chakra. Even though you have the crown chakra here, it is so important to remember to stay grounded. You may even need to do things like showers are amazing. You know how you get those great ideas in the shower and you have those great thoughts in the shower? It's because there's negative ions in the air that surround you. That's actually a good thing. That's even negative ions, positive thing, because that it's inspiring. It helps you feel grounded. It helps you feel connected. And that's the same thing that happens when you're out in nature, when you're out in the forest, when you're out catching yourself. But also that is a moment of self-care. So it's really important to indulge in those moments. And some days, you feel like you don't want to get out of bed, but taking a shower is so rejuvenating because you take a moment of self-care. You take a moment for yourself. You take a moment to get grounded and remember how important you are. We're remembering how important we are with this double mission. Now, the double mission speaks not only about being a light seed worker, a light worker, starseed, not only having that galactic DNA, but living here as a human, having this human experience, but it also talks about your mission for yourself, your mission for discovery, your mission for evolution, your spiritual self. There's a lot talking about your spiritual self in these cards, and not to neglect that. And it's a really important aspect. Meditation is so important, journaling, things like that. Now for me, I'm not one to sit down and meditate. I know people who do that and love it and they're amazing. Or do a practice like yoga. I do active meditation, so I'll find myself, even though I'm paying attention, because I think I just have like that extra little thing going on in my head, I need to keep that occupied by like driving, and then I can meditate, or walking, like hiking works so well for me. And I just think that, I don't know, maybe I'm not as evolved enough, or maybe that's just me, but the active meditation counts as well, especially like for me, running or getting on that bicycle, getting on the elliptical, things like that are amazing. But don't forget about your double mission. So this is not only, and it's connected here to the Great Gathering, because the double mission is for yourself as well as, I know that we want to, we want to have, our mission is to have a better earth. To the system that currently is just not serving everyone, It's serving the elite few, the people who put everybody else in guilt. And that's part of this awakening that you're going through and this realization that you're having. So the double mission is of yourself, but also your service to others and your connection with others. And if all you do is recognize that, and if all you do is meditate on that, that is perfectly fine. You're holding space for that. It's kind of the same thing as when you're out in nature. It holds space for you. And you can tell how uplifting that is. So that's how uplifting you are. Lifting the veil, talking about lifting. This is and you're doing this with that crown chakra, that higher chakra. You pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to your thoughts, that intuition, that just knowing, those epiphanies that you have. It's coming from someplace else because you are connected to higher realms. You are connected to the Akashic records, for example. You are connected to your spirit guides, to the angels. You are connected to the Galactic Federation. If you wanted to meditate and contact them, you could. So you have that ability, you have that like psychic gift, that otherworldly, that sixth sense that people talk about. It may not be as well developed, and you might need to, as well developed as you think, or that you think it should be. Don't compare yourself to others. You have your own gifts in your own ways. There are ways that people get and receive messages, or they're attuned to messages. You can get it through song lyrics, through just the repetitions that you're noticing things in the world. Strange thing that I've been noticing lately, I've been very connected to Weird Al Yankovic. It's so crazy, like it keeps coming up, and I had a friend send me a song today. So something like that, those types of synchronicities, they're coming in for a reason, and they're meant for you to piece the things together. You might be connected to cards like I am. This is a very visual connection that gets my mind moving and things moving. Some people hear things, some people get visions, some people have that mediumship where they can channel things, or so there are tons of different gifts. I think that to connect with yours is, first of all, like, which one interests you, and then start pulling that thread and looking at it, because you're meant to develop it a little bit more. First of all, we've got these two cards, this double mission and this inner temple. You're meant to develop yourself a little bit more for the purpose of the crown chakra and the lifting of the veil, to help others develop their gifts more. Lifting of the veil, questioning everything. Start, especially when you're noticing your emotions, like that guilt emotion. When guilt sets in, wait a second. Why should I feel guilty about doing this? Who is telling me that? Why are we telling me that? And a lot of times you uncover agendas, and really that uncovering is shining a light on it. There is a collective consciousness. So when you start asking questions, when you start looking into things, like even just within your mind, it starts opening things up, and we're having a great reveal right now, and you are integral for that. I think we talked about the Great Gathering. It's all coming together, intuitive hits. Listen to your intuition and find your soul tribe. It is okay to back away, to put boundaries between yourself and somebody else who's trying to manipulate you, who's somebody else who's trying to make you feel guilty about things. I think guilt is this is the strong emotion here that you're meant to question right now. And it's really weird, the things that we're supposed to feel guilty about. No apologies. We're here for a human experience for a reason. Now, does that mean that you get to be a complete slob and, ruin the world? No, absolutely not. But you let your heart guide you, not negative emotions. And a lot of times people are manipulating you, especially for their gain, not because it's something that's good for you, or even for the collective. And then we have inner temple, devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. So that's where I was talking about the heart chakra. I kind of feel like the 3 big chakras for you, of course, the crown chakra that's coming in, the heart chakra that's connected to this card, and also the root chakra. Because I think you're somebody who needs to be very grounded to carry out these the psychological connection, this very spiritual connection that we have going on here. Whew, that's very deep. Okay, let's see if I have some other messages that come out for you. What other messages do we have for group 1? Okay. Don't want to reveal themselves very easily, do they? The Dreamer, I love that. Oh, we've got the King of Wands. And we've got the 7 of Pentacles, 7 of Earth. Love these. These are great cards. So I'll just tell you what this says here and then we'll get more into it. Seeds well planted, effort or investments that will be rewarded in the future. Need for patience, a time for resting and planning for the future. Unnecessary worry. I think unnecessary worry definitely kind of reflects back here to guilt. We need to work on releasing that. The thing about the 7 of Pentacles is you have done all the work. It is time to just kind of let things reveal themselves. I think that's part of lifting the veil and the inner temple as well. It's almost of a more of letting you reveal yourself more than working on it. You've done the work. It's just kind of like calm down, patience, wait and see. It is coming. And in this card, and a lot of times the card is somebody, a gardener. When you have planted the seeds, you've watered it, you've weeded the garden, and maybe we are like halfway through the season and you're just waiting for the fruits of your labor to appear, and it's coming. You've done all the hard work already. It's time to just sit back and allow it. It's time to relax, maybe time to meditate. We have the King of Wands. This says motivational. So yeah, you're meant to be a leader. You're meant to stand out among other people. Now, your leadership style might be one that, because I kind of am not getting an overbearing leadership from you. It's one more of like just a very calm, quiet leadership. It's not like you're like, hey everybody, follow me, we're headed this way. It's more of like a, hey guys, this is what I'm doing and you can join me if you want to. And people recognize that leadership quality in you, and just by being you, you motivate other people. Theatrical, ambitious, take a leadership role, step into the spotlight, public speaking, keep your eyes on the big picture, communicate your vision, don't be sensitive to criticism. Back to what I was saying when we were talking about this guilt. And also you might be a big target for guilt because you do stand out. That may not be something that has revealed itself to you yet, your leadership qualities, your leadership ability, but you are definitely somebody who's very, very special. You have something important to say and very inspiring to say. And then we get the Dreamer. So this is the Fool in typical tarot. These are angel tarot cards though. And it says a new start, trust yourself, push your fears aside. Again, with pushing the fears aside, with pushing the guilt aside, getting rid of these things that are holding us back. This is a brand new beginning, a brand new start. Take that leap of faith. One thing that I love about talking about that leap of faith is that a lot of times, and come back to this great gathering, a lot of times we feel like we're alone. And I also feel like there's a calling in here. I feel like you have a calling. You have something just keeps coming up and it's telling you, you should do this, you should do this. Follow your callings. Sometimes those callings are just like a small thing just for your own self-satisfaction. Sometimes they turn into big things, but I think get in the practice of when you have something going on in your mind and it keeps nagging you, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, start doing it. Stop with the excuses. Stop with the, well, I don't know, it seems like I'm the only one who wants to do this. It's blah, blah. Maybe you are the only one who wants to do that. So what? Like, do it for yourself. You matter. You're important. Or maybe it's not going to catch on until 5 years from now. That's okay. You get the practice going. But don't wait. Don't procrastinate. The King of Wands, Wands, that energy is about action. It's about taking action. It's about doing things. It's about and it's in control, like King's control. And then the dreamer, he is set out for a journey, but all he has is this little messenger bag. So we got to release this all of this garbage that has been put on us. We have to release that and carry on with the core of your abilities, the core of your essence, the core of who you are. Ooh, this is interesting. We got these gold dragons here on this throne. It is the year of the dragon in Chinese astrology. What is that called? In the Chinese New Year is the year of the dragon. Anyway. And then the leap of faith. Sometimes we feel like we're alone when we're taking this leap, but when you take a step, God steps with you, the universe steps with you, things are conspiring for you. It is trusting your future. Maybe we don't have this plan crafted out. Maybe we don't know exactly where we're going, but a lot of times we're not going to know what kind of challenges we're going to face until we get there. So we just have to start going and trust that you can handle it. You can handle it. Fortunately, unfortunately, you are a very capable person. And the universe is conspiring for you. So God, your angels, other star seeds. It's so funny and it's so fun when people appear just when you need them. But I also feel like there needs to be a recognition for you, because I think you're the type of person who appears for others just when they need it. So there's that reciprocal energy going on. So that's what I have for you, Group 1. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope this was helpful. And thank you so much for being here. Hello, Group 2. So if you chose this image, you got the law of polarity. I know, right? It's all just basically one color. However, it is pointing at each other. And I suppose, good and evil, light and dark, they kind of are a reflection of each other. And this is about balancing those things. It's really interesting within the history of humanity how easily people do very evil and terrible things in the what am I trying to say? The pursuit of goodness, pursuit of justice, pursuit of the way. We are so good. We are so wonderful. We're not evil at all. But then they do really awful and evil things. And for example, when I'm talking about history, I'm talking about the Nazis. They thought that they were just. They thought that they were great. And they kind of convinced themselves of that. And huge and terrible atrocities have happened because of not recognizing the evil, not balancing that out. But it bubbles up and it comes up. So we need to recognize that within ourselves. We need to recognize both the good and the bad, the good and the evil, our shadow selves. We need to face those things that scare us. And the law of polarity is about that, that there is a balance between that. We can't really have good without evil. We can't really have happiness without sadness, or peace without violence. And those things exist, but I think that the balance of those things is where we have the true power. And that is like the recognition of our own extremes kind of helps us and guides us to where we really need to be. And you're someone who is here to go through that dark night of the soul, to have those soul awakenings. You may have gone through it already, or you may be on your like third one, or kind of like, what are you talking about, dark night of the soul? Check into it. I think it's something that would be very useful for you. We have conception, number 16. I'm just going to put all of these cards out and then we'll talk about them. Empathetic starseed, energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. So that's kind of a warning about empathy and how we can control it. Karmic relationships, Orion energy, polarity, like we have polarity coming up again. Soul growth and conflict. We grow through conflict. We can get stronger through our conflict and competition with each other. The age of light, you've been training for this for lifetimes. I'm getting like old soul energy for sure, especially when we've got conception here and the age of light, and then priestess. So old soul energy and very strong leadership energy. Group 1 had leadership energy too, but anybody who really resonates with being a starseed or a light worker, we're going to have this leadership energy because we're going to be strong enough to kind of break away and move on our own path. But I'm getting goosebumps here. You are a very complex and strong and powerful individual. Conception, the frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what we can manifest through our own focused awareness and intention. I kind of feel like the polarities coming in here, and then conception, which I think relates to the age of light, and we'll get more into that. But it is coming in to remind you how powerful your focus is, how when you put your attention towards something, it like you are an amazing manifester. And I feel like I think yeah, part of recognizing your power as a starseed is also the recognition that there are others who recognize you as well and try to manipulate you. Manipulation kind of came up in group 1 as well, but what I mean by that is it is recognized by others, not just by yourself. By we're a light worker here. We're on the light side. We are the Jedis. It's recognized by the dark agenda, the dark side, who you are. And so there are things put in place to knock you off your game, to pull you out of your alignment, to pull you out of your focus. So there, and you can see that there's a lot of chaos, there's all these random games, there's TikTok, there's YouTube, which I know I'm on YouTube, that's part of the polarity here. But there are a lot of like things that are just not really for our highest good and just maybe for entertainment purposes. But that entertainment knocks us out of our alignment. And it's important to remember who you are and what you're here for, to regain that alignment. Kind of reminds me, and I say this a lot, there is a scene in The Incredibles, that Disney movie with the superheroes, where Mr. Incredible goes off and his wife doesn't know where he is or what he's doing, and she thinks he might be having an affair. She doesn't know, and she's crying at the kitchen table with Edna. Edna is the superhero fashion, the one who does all the superhero suits, and she's crying, and she's like, what am I gonna do? He's off doing these adventures. He went back to find himself. He was missing who he was, so he went back to do what he does best. He didn't fit into the normal world, and I think you're feeling that too. You are more, and especially with these cards, you are more than the sum of your parts. Like, you have a huge soul. You have a huge spiritual footprint that you've already put down before you even incarnated in this body on earth. And she was actually doing pretty good. The wife, Elastigirl, she was doing pretty good, but he goes off and she doesn't know where he's at, and she's crying, and she's like, what am I gonna do? And Edna smacks her with a glove, I think. And she says, what are you gonna do? You need to remember who, you're Elastigirl, and she says, you remind him who he is, right? He's Mr. Incredible. He's incredible. They kind of go through an awakening. I like that movie, looking at it through a spiritual lens. I should probably do a video on that. Anyway, and she's like, you are going to go there, you're going to fight, and you are going to remember, you're going to show him who you are. And I just feel like this is kind of like a remembering of your consciousness and remembering who you are, and that you are an energy body, you are consciousness, you are this raw, untapped, powerful energy being. So there's something here in the book on this conception that I want to read to you, because I think it's so important and it so relates to everything. Take a moment to go inside and remember where you came from. You are made of energy, pure consciousness. You chose to be here in this body at this time, in this place. Allow yourself to realize the infinite potentials and possibilities that you are able to manifest through your focused awareness and intention, through conception, through your thoughts, through your mind. It's very, very powerful. I also want to point out, like, this heartbeat, that there's, that this heartbeat graph that's kind of going through here. I don't know if you can see it. It's very, very faint. And breath work, meditation, listening to your heartbeat, feeling your heartbeat, so important to remembering your energy body and who you are. This talks about the heartbeat of the universe and how you're here for that. Now, for some of you, I'm not saying this, I don't think this is for all of you, but when I see karmic relationships, I see red flags, especially when I see empathetic starseeds. So in your relationships, you need to be very, very careful, because you are a very powerful being. I think you see people with love, and you will see people who you think, wow, they have a lot of potential. I could really help them out. Be careful of that. You might lose yourself, you might get dragged down, you might get in a relationship with a narcissist. Narcissists are actually amazing at finding empaths and latching onto, because they're either incapable of their own emotions, or they don't feel their own emotions, but their emotions have to go somewhere, and they push them off on our lovely, beautiful empaths. And I think a lot of starseeds come into classroom Earth and get into some really toxic relationships. Not only be careful with your relationships with romantic partners, with people you think that, who, I I have a hard time with the concept of twin flame because I feel like it keeps people into really toxic relationships for way too long, especially when you have polarity here. I think you might be, that idea of opposites attract. Just be careful, because you deserve to be with a partner who is loving and caring and allows you to express yourself and be yourself. So many times we go into relationships because we think we can fix that person. We think we can help that person. We know they're having a hard time and we have this special gift of empathy and we can help them. That's a red flag, and that is just exhausting. And this reading is about you discovering yourself and becoming this badass diva, this badass warlock, this badass priestess that you are, and not being pulled down or bogged down by others. And again, I kind of feel like, you might be a target for that, because you do kind of like exude this energy, maybe without even knowing it or without even understanding that you're doing it. You become kind of like a target for these leeches that want to, just suck off all that beautiful, lovely energy that you have worked so hard for millennia to put together. So be careful. It is okay to say no. It is okay to back away. And in fact, this empathetic starseed here, it even reminds you, absorbing what's not yours. It's okay. So part of the you're just here to hold space. You're here to transmute negative energy, but you don't have to go out and find a specific person who is doing that negative energy. What you can do is put a boundary around yourself and be like, nope, I'm not taking your negativity. I'm not allowing you to give me your negativity while I give you my positivity. Allow them to feel their own feels. This really reminds me of, I have a friend who went through a divorce and it was really nasty, and he was a narcissist and just a complete, just crazy liar. He had like this double life going on. It was crazy. Anyway, long drawn out divorce. She didn't even want to get divorced because of her religion. She's Catholic. And finally, he made it so terrible on her that when and long and drawn out that she had moved on, she had done really well, but it was like 2 years. And she was like, I was crying at my divorce and I didn't understand why. Well, of course, when we go through change or even though you think you might be happy, you're going to have mixed feelings. But the second thing was, I told her, I'm like, that wasn't your sadness. You dealt with your sadness. She knew she dealt with it. That was his. And those types of people will put that on you because they're attracted to you, because, opposites attract, this negative and positive energy. So it's going to be a learning curve for you to learn how to balance that out, to learn how to say no, to learn how to put up those boundaries, how to be an empath, but have those boundaries. He needed to deal with those emotions. She had already dealt with it by him dumping things on her, and he had done this throughout their relationship. Like there was no growth there. There was no, this is soul growth and conflict. There was no conflict. You can't change people. You can't fix people. All you can do is be who you are. But you can also be assertive. I mean, you can be kind and loving and empathic, but you can also be assertive as like, I'm not taking on this extra negative energy from you. Now, it could be a romantic partner. It can also be somebody that you work with, a family member. This happens so much in families. You'll get into a conflict with them and then you're doing the right thing, but you're the bad guy. That happens all the time. Don't accept it. Don't accept it. Nope. Sorry, I'm going to energetically shield myself from your negativity, and you have to deal with your own crap. Stop placing it on me. That is one of your lessons here. That is a hard lesson, especially when you are so well developed in your empathic abilities, but you also need to start questioning some things. I have another friend who was talking about how she just got like this moment of something, right? This sadness or anxiety, and she's like, I don't get it. I shouldn't be feeling that way. I've examined my life. There's nothing going on. Why am I feeling this? It's not yours. That's why you're feeling it. Release it, let it go. But yeah, question those things to figure out why you have it coming in. And I love that this card specifically talks about absorbing what's not yours. Stop absorbing what's not yours. The energetic starseed is, so many times we have this idea, we're like, ooh, I am a starseed. I know that. I am on mission Earth. I am here for a reason. I know I'm here for a reason. The Age of Light talks about you being here for a reason. I know I'm supposed to be here. What am I supposed to do? The empathetic starseed is like, guess what? All you have to do is show up and be cute. You being here is enough. You get to be a cat. You get to just show up, be cute, and not accept other people's crap. That's what it's about. And then that will allow you to branch out and be the leader that you are also supposed to be. So that's what I have with those cards. And then the Age of Light. I love this card. It's so amazing. You've been training for this for lifetimes. So I also want to refer to the book on this one because it is amazing. Like I said, mystics and sages throughout the ages have predicted this period in history, and you decided to incarnate in the middle of it. There is no mistake that you are supposed to be here at this time of great change. If you ever feel unprepared or daunted by the path that is calling you, know this. You've been training for this for lifetimes. You're way more than the days that you've breathed through than the days that have breathed through you in this life. You're also all of the lifetimes that came before. All of these experiences, you've polished your soul into the most magnificent expression that is your authentic self. Your soul has many facets. Imagine a fingerprint. Your soul is 1,000,000 times more intricate than that. If you put together all of the fingerprints of all of the people you have been, you would not even be close to fathoming understanding how much of a unique masterpiece you are. You came in with a clear soul plan. You came in with wisdom beyond your years. This is the part of you that longs to be seen. This is the part of you that is ready to step forward, that is ready to emerge, that is not this is not the lifetime to stay hidden, but to step forth, to be seen and rise. Seriously, chills when I read that, when I know who you are through these other cards. This is confirmed through conception, and this is confirmed through priestess too, because this is also a card about stepping up. How are you being called to step up and lead? This is you following your calling, your guidance, your intuition, following where you feel like you need to be. And trusting in that. Gosh, there seems like there was something else I wanted to say. I'm going to pull some more cards. All right, it'll come up. What else can you tell us? Ooh, 6 of Cups, 6 of Water, 4 of Earth. And what else do we have? The Empress. Empress, so much back to this empathetic starseed, this is a major arcana card. This is a major energy. This goes back to manifestation. This goes back to putting out intentions. This strong and beautiful, loving person who is all about abundance for not only yourself but others. 6 of Cups, children or childhood, revisiting old dreams or plan, embracing your inner child, the return of people or romances from the past, romanticizing how things used to be. Now, when I see this 6 of Cup card and this karmic relationships, I feel like you probably have strong connections to people you just met. Like there's a strong familiarity with them. Now be careful, because sometimes it's not always a positive familiarity, so question that, but you might want to keep those kinds of people close. If you've had this sensation of walking into a room of people that you don't really know and like scanning the room and going, there's something about you that seems familiar. Familiarity, I think, is something that you can use as a guidance. Deja vu. This card, the Age of Light, talked about coming into this life with a soul plan, probably a soul contract. It's kind of hard to remember those things. We kind of forget. I think it's just too much for a human brain to comprehend and understand. But there are like synchronicities, deja vu, things like that just give us a glimpse of familiarity in something that shouldn't be familiar. And it might be because it's directing us back to your soul contract. And I think the 6 of Cups is helping us to remember that. It's also, embracing that inner child. Those people from our past, it may not just be from this past lifetime, but from like these karmic relationships where we're meeting people who our soul group or our soul family, like they will return to you, who we've known before through other lifetimes. It's the other lifetime concept and our energy body concept is so strong in your reading here. And then we get 4 of Earth. So we get a Pentacles card. We get a card about grounded here in this moment at an Earth. This is managing your resources wisely. Extremes in how you give or receive money, time, or emotions. I feel like this is more related to emotions when we've got the empathetic starseed, and we've already discussed that. We've discussed how you need to consciously think about protecting your essence, protecting your energy, protecting your thoughts, protecting yourself. You can put boundaries, like energetic boundaries around yourself. The way that I like to do that is, and I've done this with my teenage son when he goes to school, because there's a lot of garbage out there in middle school. So you sit and close your eyes, and you can do this a couple ways. You do what resonates with you. You can envision your body. You can see yourself from a third-party perspective, sitting where you're sitting, and bathe your body in light and energy, and use that as a boundary between you and other people. That negativity can't penetrate or impact you. What also I like to do is, instead of energy or light, I like to imagine myself as a mirror, my whole body, either a mirror or chrome or something that reflects back. And what I love about that is, when a narcissist comes to see you, or somebody who wants to dump things on you, when they look at you and you have protected yourself with that mirror coating, they see themselves. They are reflected back their own energy, and they leave you alone. You almost don't need to do anything. But when somebody of light, like another empath, another starseed sees that, they're attracted to you. So that's one of my favorite ways or favorite things to do. So be sure to protect yourself, to protect your emotions. Smart business decisions, seeing things such as black and white, being charitable. And I think we have a handle. I think you have a handle on being charitable. I think you might be a little bit too charitable. That's why I'm telling you to kind of pull some things back here. And then we have the Empress. This says time to take action. I don't think you need to take a lot of action. Maybe action in how you're protecting yourself, maybe action in who you're allowing to have access to you and your emotions, that kind of thing. I think that's what's important for you. Give birth to your dreams. Creative projects will be successful. Abundance and prosperity. The Empress is creating things. She's holding a unicorn here, but she's usually kind of appears as almost pregnant. So she is giving birth to things. Now, when you give birth to things, it could be like a creative project. It could be something new that you are creating. It doesn't have to be an actual person. But if I'm doing a reading and somebody's asking me if they're, about life and if they're going to have kids and the Empress comes up, yes, that is a pregnancy card. So, but it also new creation. So what is the new thing that you want to create once you cut these ties with the maybe these negative karmic relationships that are holding you back, the false twin flames, that kind of thing. That's what I have for you, group 2. I hope that you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for being here with me. Stay focused. Remember, you can create whatever your heart desires. All you have to do is put your intentions out there and follow it. You are extremely powerful, and you know things that are far beyond what you have experienced or could have known in this lifetime. You are definitely an old soul. So thanks so much for being here, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, group 3. Thank you for being here with me. So this image that you chose, this blue with the gray, purple, and a little bit of green here, control. Did you think it was control? I bet you didn't think it was control. I don't know. It's a really interesting image for control, right? Because so much of it, like you would think that control would be a grid. But I think that it's important to remember that control is an illusion. I know, I hate to say that. I know that all of these, is it the left-brained who want things to be on a grid, and they want things to be fit into a box, and it just doesn't happen that way. Now, there is something to be said about controlling the controllables. That's something that one of my mentors used to say, control the controllables, because there are things that you can do. You can make your bed, for instance, you can clean your room, you can do your laundry, you can do those things. And then it somehow feels like all of the things that are out of control somehow reach a greater order than they would have originally. So many times we focus on what is out of control or out of our control, and we just get overwhelmed. And this is a reminder to maybe get a little grounded, control the controllables, do what you can, and forgive yourself if you can't accomplish or do the rest. There's no reason to feel overwhelmed. We're just mere mortals here. Although more than mortals, we have soul time, we have star family. You're part of a team of souls. Call in support. New earth, it's happening. Keep holding the vision. Trust the niggle. What is that niggling feeling? trying to tell you. So you need to trust your instincts, trust yourself. A lot of times when we're feeling overwhelmed, we don't hear things like this. We have to clear out the clutter so that we can pay attention to what we're trying to tell ourselves, what is going on in our minds. And then Mintonkin, longing for home, belonging, the original Lightworkers. So Mintonkin is, I wanted to say an island, but it's a planet. It was thought to have a lot of water. Mintonkins gravitate towards crystal clear water, and that planet no longer exists. So sometimes we feel like we want to go home and we just can't. Kind of reminds me of, I moved away from home for like 10 years and I really longed to go back, but when I did, I just did not recognize it. When I moved back to the city I grew up in, and things continually change, and we have to change, evolve, and grow with it. So let's talk about soul time. Let's start here. Yeah, and that's part of things that are out of our control. We can't, it's hard enough to control ourselves. We really can't a lot of times. So we certainly can't control other people, but there are certain things that we can do. And sometimes we need to take some actions on those things to help feel order around ourselves. Soul time, the frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibility of a new reality to emerge, one that embraces the concept that while the corporal body is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. And we've got these infinity symbols running through here to, things come back to each other. Things flow, the universe flows, and we just are here for a ride and we're flowing with it. The purple represents our connection to our higher self, to our spiritual self, to spirit, to the universe, to our soul family, to a world that we long for, that we have not been to in ages. Then the yellow represents our internal self. So this is incorporating everything through time. Time flows. Now this is a hard concept for me to fathom. So I think it's hard for other people. However, I can't speak for you. But the linear version of time, like our stories that we tell ourselves, we're born, we're here, we exist, we die. And soul time says that there is more to that the past and the present and the future is all happening together. What I love about the concept of soul time, though, and I've tapped into this and I think it could be really helpful, is that when you're faced with a problem or an issue and you don't feel like you have the tools or the experience to handle that situation, and it kind of reminds me of those "What Would Jesus Do" bracelets, because it kind of taps into like that bigger energy of the universe. Like, what would Jesus do in this situation? Sometimes maybe Jesus isn't equipped, like that song, Jesus Take the Wheel. Like, when did Jesus learn how to drive? I digress. But when you're in a situation, like, if you think of yourself in an alternate reality, and maybe it's the version of yourself that's equipped to handle this situation. It's the version of yourself who is a leader, the version of yourself who is a pioneer, the version of yourself who is a singer, maybe the version of yourself who is a dancer. What would me having this experience do? That kind of helps you move through situations, and it helps you it helps you to connect those times together without getting too much into like realities and the Mandela effect and all of those things, or string theory, where where again the past present is all going on together. I like to tap into my future self a lot too, or maybe it's not another reality, but it's my future self or my higher self, myself that knows more about this situation. What would I do? How should I proceed? And then it starts to give you a little bit of courage to figure out the here and now of the situation and what to do. And the reason I'm bringing that up is it's something that you are capable of doing. A star family, you're part of a team of souls. Call in support. I mean, look at how cool this picture is of like, you know, these souls being beamed out all over the place. I often feel like, you know, this could be your soul family from Mintonkin. It could also be your angels, your guides, your guidance, your connection, your energetic and spiritual connection, your soul connection. I love that we have souls and souls. I love pulling cards from different decks because so often they refer back to each other and confirm messages, and that's why I do it. So your connection to your soul is really important right now, and it's really important to just you in general to remember you're more than your human self. You're more than your parts, and you are not alone, even though many times you might feel you're alone, and you are on the right path, even though many times you feel like you're not on the right path, or you're looking at the chaos that's the world and it feels like overwhelming, like what the heck am I supposed to do with this? How am I supposed to usher in this new energy of new earth when we've got taxes, when we've got, you know, all of this garbage and this crap going on? But it is trust yourself, trust in who you are and what you are and your higher self, and focus on you, and don't get distracted by the garbage. Your soul family is here to support you. You can tap into that. You can ask for help. You can ask for help from angels. Angels are all around and ready to help you. One thing, like energetic cords to other people. I don't know why this is necessarily coming up, but it is, because I'm not necessarily seeing it in the cards. But I'm seeing an image of Archangel Michael, because I think Archangel Michael wants to work with you. We're going to get some angel cards here in a second, so maybe he'll come up there. But Archangel Michael is the one who has the sword, and he can help you cut energetic connections to maybe people or places that are no longer serving you. You know, sometimes I love this kind of longing, but if it's holding you back, we need to figure out how to recreate what you want, or how to feel grounded or connected to New Earth. It's interesting that we have New Earth over Mintonkin, right? Because Mintonkin doesn't exist, but we're here on Earth right now. It's almost like future and past that we have going on here, and it's definitely a sign about you as a star seed here at the right time, to keep the faith, keep the energy, hold this moment, hold this energy to bring in new earth. This is your sign that you are on the right path. I know a lot of times we question ourselves again because we get bombarded with the garbage, with the fear, with the crap. So acting out of love, releasing fear, and then we're going to talk about our root chakra and feeling grounded while we're here in earth here in just a moment with Mintonkin energy. The niggle. I didn't know what a niggle was. I guess I've heard niggling, but it's that I say nagging, and maybe that is where I'm from anyway. So that feeling that you get, that when you maybe take a moment of pause, clear your mind, you're getting rid of negative thoughts, and you're just, usually I do that breathing exercise where I talk about being here in the moment, right? It's important to do that, to kind of check in with yourself, to check in with your wants and your desires. And it is this thing that keeps coming up for you. Maybe it's that you need to write a book. Maybe it's that you need to start a YouTube channel. This was one of my niggling feelings that I needed to do for myself. And sometimes we really have to quiet ourselves, but it's something, because some people they can ignore this forever. I know somebody right now who is ignoring being a lawyer. She really wanted to be a lawyer, and she's working with in-law, so she's much happier than she was, but it just was something that kept coming back to her, and she was on like a completely different path. And now that she has directed herself towards that, she's a paralegal now. I don't know if she'll go to law school, but it just felt like that's what she needed to. She's a paralegal. Things just things feel right. She feels at home. And part of that feeling might be that you feel left out, that you don't feel at home. Mintongan, this longing for home, probably because unfortunately that planet no longer exists. Things change. Even if it exists, it could be completely different from your memory. I shared that story of like I moved away from home for like 10 years, and when I came back, it wasn't the same. Part of that is because I changed. A lot of that is because I changed. But I think that it's important to recognize that you're a light worker, you're a starseed, you have connections with other people. Also important with the soul family. Recognizing your soul family. You might feel like you meet somebody and you just feel like you're old friends, like you are so connected with them, you're able to share with them, even from a brief meeting. A lot of times, your star family, your soul family, like they come together, and you're meant to cross paths, and sometimes it's just for a minute, just for a while, just to remind you that you're on the right path. Sometimes it just seems like this deep connection that you get with people, and it's like not very logical, but you just connect. That is your star family. So sometimes we feel alone, and that's why we're longing for home. Connect with look for those connections, because a lot of times we keep ourselves cut off. So let's see what other messages we get. You are here to study. And like I said, these are angel cards. So this is Archangel Uriel, and then Archangel Raphael. So no Archangel Michael, but he came through very, very strong there. So if you feel the need to look into or work with angels, I'm feeling a lot of angelic energy here. I think that could be really helpful for you. And my Archangel Michael is definitely stepping forward. So look at this, star family connections. We get the Two of Cups, falling in love or resurgence of a romantic relationship, forgiveness and ending of challenges, exchanging gifts. Don't give up on the people you love. So this is just a reminder that connections are important for you. I love that we have cups here. Well, we have two cups cards here, and we have the Mintonkan energy. I'm not surprised by that at all, because this is a very loving energy. It's water-based energy. I did say something about getting ourselves grounded, and then we had I was on a roll there, and then my camera shut off because my card was full. So I forget where I was, but we were talking about this Two of Cups energy, and I believe I was at the point where I was telling you that don't give up on people you love. Connections are really, really important to you. We've got our star family here. We've got our Two of Cups. I'm not surprised to see this Cups energy, this water energy, when we also have this Mintonkan card. So connections with other people, follow your feelings, Flow with your feelings. It's interesting that we have control. I feel like a lot of times you might feel like you need to control your feelings or be in control. And it's more of a follow them and maybe be an observer of your feelings rather than try to control things. We're listening to those feelings. We're letting them guide us. That's why we have this card here. I mentioned with Mintonkan energy that we were going to talk about our root chakra, even though we have a lot of cups cards here, and it is about our emotions and following our emotions. We also need to feel grounded. That's going to help us maybe help control our situation or control our feelings and be the observer of those feelings. This is the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Earth, and the page is about you might be new to Earth. When we get the page, this might be a new experience for you, even though you could consider yourself an old soul, or a soul that has traveled a lot or been places. I feel like you're new here, so don't worry. Things might feel they don't feel like natural, we'll say. Scholarly, cheerful, dependable, mischievous, time to get to work. An excellent opportunity presents itself. This Nine of Cups kind of talks about opportunities as well. Happy news about your career, promotions or scholarships, a new area of study. I feel like you're entering a new phase, and that's why we have the page here. And to stay grounded, there's a reminder to listen to that root chakra and to be grounded. And I know that we say like be grounded, stay grounded, but we don't always express like how do we do that. First of all, being an observer of your emotions rather than, yes, we want to feel those emotions, but we observe them. We ask questions why. We get outside. We get into nature. We maybe dip our toes in the water. A shower can help us feel grounded. Getting out into nature, hikes, walks, just walking around the block, putting our toes in the sand, important for being grounded. And then finally, this is amazing. This is one of the best cards in the deck. This is the Nine of Cups. Wishes come true. Your dreams become reality. I love this talk about dreams becoming reality when we have the new Earth and Miss Mintonkan energy here. You are here to hold a vision and make it into reality. We are an energy beings, and we bring energy into reality when we're here on 3D Earth. A magical time of life, good fortune, faith in the universe that all will be well. So I leave you with that. All is well. You might be feeling a little overwhelmed. I can kind of feel that, but you're not alone. And time is infinite. You are infinitely more than your human self. You are for sure a starseed. And possibly from Mintonkan or the Orion area, but that, dip into that, and it's kind of hard to pinpoint. And there are other people who do that a little bit better than I do about starseed origins. So if that interests you, you might dip a little bit more into that and figure out where you are and what kind of starseed you are. Just follow your intuition. Follow that feeling, and you need to start doing what your soul, like you need to start following your soul purpose, your internal guidance. Trust yourself, because your wishes are meant to come true. You are here for your dreams to become reality. And that's what I have for you, Group 3. Thank you so much for being here in this reading. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. Sending you much love, and thank you. I'll see you in the next reading.